Hello everybody, and welcome to the final episode of DTDcember, a series in which I've counted down my top 12 GTA villains of all time. If you want more info on this whole thing, feel free to check out my first video in this series where I explain the rules of my list. Or if you haven't seen my previous DTDcember videos and want to avoid spoilers, check out this playlist to watch the first 11 entries. Today, I'll be talking about the number one villain in all of Grand Theft Auto, Frank Tenpenny from San Andreas. Let's be real, I think we all knew who my number one pick was going to be since the first episode of the series. But who can really blame me for it? Tenpenny's such an iconic character that I don't even think I really need to explain why I think he's the greatest GTA villain of all time. But still, I'm gonna go ahead and take the time to give him his flowers anyway. San Andreas wastes no time in introducing us to Officer Tenpenny as he and his posse are shown detaining our protagonist CJ in one of the game's opening cutscenes. In addition to taking our cash under the guise of it being drug money, Tenpenny and his crew plants evidence on CJ to pin the murder of a cop they just killed onto us, and imply that we'll be framed for this murder if we don't play ball. With that, they drop us off in ballless territory to let us fend for ourselves as we try to make it back home. After this, Tenpenny's next appearances are at the houses of Big Smoke and Ryder to occasionally give them info on events taking place so that the Grove can get the drop and get ahead. Or at least, that's what we assume he's doing at the time. He makes it clear later on that the reason he does this is that all of Los Santos' gangs remain on somewhat of an even playing field, and that none of them get too big for their britches. But nonetheless, every time he's on screen, he always remains disrespectful to the members of Grove Street, particularly CJ, to remind us that he's untouchable. As CJ and Sweet, meanwhile, start to build Grove Street back into the force it once was, it can be implied that Big Smoke and Ryder leak our plans to crash, as the shootout Sweet plans to lead Grove Street into against the Ballas turns out to be an ambush. And given Tenpenny's philosophy on keeping the gangs level with each other, it wouldn't surprise me if he realized Grove Street was becoming too powerful and decided to cut its legs in the Green Saber. But speaking of this infamous mission, we simply cannot talk about this climax in the story without talking about the big reveal that Big Smoke and Ryder had been working with Tenpenny. By this point of the story, it's been made abundantly clear that this corrupt cop is a completely irredeemable evil who we'll have to bring down at some point. But to see Smoke and Ryder make a deal with this devil after everything CJ had been through with them, it's truly heartbreaking, and if two of our best friends can be corrupted by this bastard, then it's just all the more evident that he'll have to go down before he destroys everything we know and love. Unfortunately though, by this point, it feels like it's too late to stop him, because in the fallout of the Green Saber, it's revealed that Sweet is in prison, it's fair to assume that Grove Street has fallen, and now we're stranded in the middle of nowhere. Couple that with the aforementioned betrayal of Smoke and Ryder, and I don't think that you could blame CJ if, at this moment, he felt all hope was lost. But regardless of how he feels, Sweet being in prison gives Tenpenny all the more leverage to use against CJ due to his newfound power to make our brother's life hell. And now that he has this leverage, he immediately uses it to force CJ to take out a snitch who has dirt on him. Through most of the rest of the game, CJ is left to his own devices wherever he may be. But no matter where he goes, Tenpenny shows his reach knows no bounds as he frequently travels across the state to force us to do his dirty work. Whether it's petty dealings like forcing us to repay his weed debts to the truth, or more serious matters like taking out those who threaten to expose his corruption, Tenpenny can show up at any time and make CJ drop everything to do his bidding. It's worth pointing out as well that for the majority of the story, Tenpenny usually appears calm and in control of the situation, but when he contacts us in Las Venturas, he's much more on edge because he likely feels the walls are closing in and his time may be up soon. In the mission High Noon, it becomes clear why he's as tense as he is when he turns against Officer Hernandez, the rookie cop of the group, for snitching on him, as somebody with as much information as Hernandez would surely be able to bring Tenpenny down if he's been talking. In this cutscene, he also tasks Officer Pulaski, the other cop in the group, with watching over CJ as we dig our own grave and then killing us afterwards while Tenpenny quite literally fucks off. However, thanks to plot armor, we manage to turn the tables and eliminate Pulaski, leaving Tenpenny all by himself for whatever comes next. As the story continues on, CJ eventually succeeds at getting Sweet out of prison, and while the Johnson brothers are busy rebuilding the Grove into the strongest gang in Los Santos, Tenpenny is arrested and stands trial for his crimes. However, due to a lack of evidence against him, he's found innocent, which results in a mass riot across the city. In the midst of the riots, Sweet and CJ get to work to discover Big Smoke's whereabouts and soon take revenge for his betrayal. And then after Smoke is defeated, Officer Tenpenny makes one last appearance to put us to work one last time before he plans to kill us. Following this final dialogue between the two natural enemies in which Tenpenny tells us his plan to escape the city, he aims a shotgun at us and gets ready to end CJ, only for our protagonist's plot armor to kick in yet again. Foiled by our deadly dolphin dive, Tenpenny retreats and causes an explosion to burn the building down and CJ along with it, forcing us to engage in a shootout against Big Smoke's men, similar to the one we took part in en route to reaching Smoke at the start of the mission, as we now have to escape the building before it explodes. After we make it out, Sweet and CJ chase down Tenpenny's fire truck through the streets of Los Santos while rival gangsters and other cops try to stop us. In the end, our main antagonist loses control of the vehicle and crashes through a bridge, landing in the middle of Grove Street where he delivers a monologue in which he pretty much states that he doesn't regret a thing, before he bleeds out and poetically meets his end in the center of the hood he tried so hard to destroy. CJ. When I think of villains in Grand Theft Auto, Officer Tenpenny is the first one who comes to mind. Sure, that's probably partially due to nostalgia. San Andreas was one of the first video games I've ever played after all, but I think it's mostly due to how effective of a villain he truly was. At the start of the game, before we even take control of our character, he makes his presence and his power known as he wastes no time in showing our protagonist that he owns us. And throughout the game, he makes sure to keep reminding us that if he wants something done, CJ is going to get it done, because if he doesn't, there will be consequences. It doesn't matter how far CJ tries to go either, because he literally chases us all the way around the state to get what he wants. As far as impact goes as well, Tenpenny continually makes life hell for our protagonist, particularly at the start of the game when he takes damn near everything away from us. And even though we're able to take most of it back by the end, our villain's actions while he was alive have left a lasting impact on CJ and the entire Grove that they'll still have to live with. If it weren't for Tenpenny's influence, Ryder and Big Smoke wouldn't have betrayed Grove Street. Well, I won't go as far as to say that Big Smoke wouldn't have, since he's always been in it for himself, but I'd like to at least believe that Ryder would have remained loyal to the Grove if it wasn't for Crash forcing his betrayal. Additionally, Tenpenny's association with the motherfucking Green Saber proves that he at least had some hand in the death of CJ's mom. And no matter how many casinos CJ opens in Las Venturas, no matter how many cars he boosts in San Fierro, and no matter how much territory he conquers in Los Santos, the Johnson family will sadly never have her back. And of course, just as an overall icon, Tenpenny can't be topped by any other character on this list. And as somebody as charismatic as Samuel L. motherfucking Jackson voicing him, it's no wonder why Tenpenny is as memorable as he is today. From telling Carl that he'll see him around like a donut, to calling CJ a
motherfucking piece of shit gang-banging cocksucker,
he has plenty of quotes that live rent-free in my head to this day. And never mind his comedic tone. Whenever Tenpenny gets serious or aggressive to whichever character he's interacting with, you know he means business. But despite being such a great overall character, he's not a character like Lance Vance or Big Smoke who I feel a bit of sadness for when I kill them. And he's not an annoying pushover like Sonny Forelli or Devin Weston, who are just treated like an obstacle you've overcome when they're gone. No, when this irredeemably evil piece of shit bleeds out on Grove Street, I feel nothing but joy knowing that CJ and the rest of the gang have finally rid themselves of this fuck who has tormented them for years. And now they can finally live their lives without the constant threat of his interference looming over them. And so, for all those reasons, I firmly believe that Officer Frank Tenpenny is the #1 greatest GTA villain of all time. And that is my list. So with everything finally all said and done, what do you guys think? Do you agree with me that Officer Tenpenny is the GOAT of GTA villains? Do you believe somebody else should bear claim to this top spot? Do you agree with my list in general, or do you think I got it wrong? How would you rank your top GTA villains? And by all means, don't feel restricted by a top 12 list. Cap your list off wherever you want. And as for DTDcember, what did you think? Did you like this whole concept? Do you want to see it return next year? If so, what topic would you like to see me cover? Please leave a comment for me to read your thoughts and opinions down below. If you've enjoyed DTDcember, then feel free to hit the like button, and then go back to like all the previous episodes as well. And if you'd like to see more GTA content, then feel free to check out some of the other videos I've made, like these ones where I do deep dive retrospectives into a few of the games, or these ones where I analyze characters from some of the games, or this one here where I create an entirely new story around the McCreary crime family before the events of GTA 4. The links to all these videos should pop up in that little white or black box in the corner of your screen right about now. But if it doesn't for you, or if you're just watching this on a console or a smart TV or something, then I trust that you can just find these videos on my channel. Otherwise, if you want to get notified when I post my next video, then feel free to hit the subscribe button. Lastly, as this year comes to a close, I just want to go ahead and thank each and every one of you who have been on this journey with me. A little over a year ago, I posted what would turn out to be my best performing video of all time, and that video is nothing more than just something different from my usual content that I just felt like making. I remember I even said that I had no real plans of shifting my style of content to videos of that nature, or at least not immediately, but when that video received 30,000 views in just a week or two, boosted my subscriber count from about 450 to over 1,000, and got my ass into the YouTube Partner Program, I decided to say, fuck it, I guess this is what I'm doing now. And I haven't regretted making that shift one bit. So many of you have been with me since that video, and you've continued to support me by watching, liking, and commenting on all my videos since then. And along the way, so many more of you have come along and stayed for the ride. So to those of you who are with me now, whether you've joined me in the past year when the Liberty City Stories video came out, or even when I was still making shitty Gang Beasts videos, thank you all so much for supporting me and giving me the chance I've fought to earn for over 6 years. And that's just to entertain you all for a living. 2023 was the beginning, and 2024 was something special. But I'm proclaiming now that 2025 will be the year of Doug. And with that, I want to thank you all one more time for watching. And not only do I hope you have a blessed day, but I hope you have a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, a Happy Kwanzaa, a Happy Eid, whenever the hell the next one of those is, a happy whatever other holiday you may celebrate, and a Happy New Year. This is your boy Doug the Dog 6, and I am signing off. See you all again in 2025.
The memories I still remember. Then I became a man, lost sight this song.